Welcome to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette, with your host Steve Garrett, MC and DJ at one of the largest Corvette weekends in the country, Corvette Fun Fest, president of the Corvette Club of Kansas City, Missouri, and radio disc jockey at the #1 radio station in Kansas City for over 40 years. Here's Steve Garrett.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Mid-America Motorworks. Pursue your passion at mamotorworks.com. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. I appreciate you tuning in. You can listen to Corvette Today on all podcast platforms. You can also listen on your smart device. Just say, Alexa or Hey Google, play the podcast called Corvette Today, and you're connected. Also, visit the Corvette Today website. It's CorvetteTodayPodcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you visit the Corvette Today merchandise store. You can also sign up for Corvette Today emails, notifications, and updates at corvettetoday.ck.page. And don't forget, join the Corvette Today Facebook group. We have over 3,400 members, and I'd love to have you as a member as well. I'm also excited to tell you about the new YouTube channel for Corvette Today. See your favorite Corvette Today podcasts now on YouTube. First, I'd like to thank our flagship sponsors of Corvette Today, AEROLARRI Wheels, a true forged wheel with over 20 unique design styles to choose from for your C8 and wide-body versions of the C7, C6, and C5 Corvette. It's an absurd value starting at only $19.88 for a set of 4 fully forged wheels. And now use the new promo code CT111, that's CT111, and get $100 off your purchase. Visit AEROLARRI.com, that's AEROLARRI.com, with the new promo code CT111 for your $100 discount. Also, Corvette Fever magazine. Corvette Fever has been relaunched with an online and printed version. The online version has incredible interactivity with hidden photos and information, and the printed version is nothing like you've ever seen before, huge and glossy. Get your free online version at CorvetteFeverMag.com. You can also sign up for the printed version there as well. Corvette Fever magazine, come along for the ride. Also, MidEngineCorvetteForum.com, the forum that focuses on the new mid-engine C8 Corvette. Meet a lot of fellow Corvette enthusiasts like yourself at MidEngineCorvetteForum.com. Also, a shout out to CanadianCorvetteForum.com, welcoming Corvette owners from around the world. It's time to get the latest Corvette news and headlines with my pal Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. As you know, Keith is a regular guest on Corvette Today. He's here twice per month, every other week, to keep you updated and current on what's happening with America's sports car. Keith, welcome back to the show. We're in the dead of winter. Last week, we got 8 inches of snow here in Kansas City. Make me jealous and tell me what it is there in Florida.
Well, you know, in Florida, we're probably going to be looking around 78 and sunny today. We're in Central Florida and Tampa. It's just a great time to be down here in these southern states during the wintertime because it's a great time to drive. You know, I have a black car, so the summertime when it's 100 degrees, it's just sometimes it's a no-go. So this is really a time when I can try to get out and do some driving a little bit. I haven't been doing some driving, but I really need to get out there. Perfect time to take advantage of it.
Well, let's do our podcast. You can get on the road, buddy.
There we go. I'll take that.
As we always do to start our news and headlines section, let's talk about Corvette production at the Bowling Green Assembly Plant.
Yeah, we've been watching the numbers, and they've been real steady over the last couple of weeks. We had a snowstorm a couple weeks back that impacted production on a Friday. But other than that, we've seen just very normal average numbers coming through. And in fact, we should probably be looking at around the 17,000 VIN by the end of this week or maybe the first of next week. Looks like things are going well. Now, there was a rumor of a quality control hold. I think it was very limited in scope. We were tracking a couple of the forum members who were saying that, you know, their car was built 15, 20, 23 days ago, and it was still at the plant. It hadn't been shipped yet. We did reach out to the plant. We never did get a response back. So kind of made me think that it was either something minor or just something like a non-story. Anyways, it looks like whatever was holding those cars back has been lifted because those people have replied back saying their cars are shipping now. I would say Corvette production looks very good right now. It could change at any moment with the supply chain issues. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and keep moving forward, seeing if our workers there at the Corvette assembly plant can just keep cranking out these cars all the way through May and the expected start of the 2023 model year.
Steady as she goes, buddy. Steady as she goes. Also, the Z06 Tour is underway already, and I was looking forward to seeing that here in Kansas City as well.
Yeah, this is probably the question I've been getting the most the last week or so is, do you know the full list of the tour? Do you know what any dealer tours out in Texas or California or some of these other Western states where we don't see a lot of dates yet? The problem is that Chevrolet wants the dealers to promote the Z06 dealer tour to their own customers, and then they're the ones responsible for bringing those people in. What's happened is we've been told that there's like 140 dealer dates reserved, but our list of what we've been able to glean from just talking to people and people submitting dates is only about 2023 or so. So we're really trying to actively reach out to people and say, if you look at our list and you know of any dealer tours in your area, please let us know. Hopefully you can confirm it for us as well. That's very helpful. We're keeping a list. They started off at Sioka last weekend on Friday. Then it's going to move down the East Coast. All kinds of dates are kind of seem to be jumping around. They're going to be in Florida in late February and then in early March as well. Check it out if you're interested in attending. These are fun events, a great way to see the new car. There's a Chevy product specialist with the tour that gives the spiel about the car, talks all about it. And then there's a really cool displays as well. And I'm hoping that one of the displays that we see shows off some of those new paint samples. We're expecting the 2 new colors for the 70th anniversary. Of course, we haven't seen those yet other than on video. So maybe those little paint mock-ups will contain the new white pearl and then that carbon flash black. So looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, check out the list. If you hear of any tour dates near you, please let us know.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. We did the C8, and that was fantastic. We had 3,000 or 4,000 people for one Sunday afternoon over at our dealership at Hendrick Chevrolet, so I'm really looking forward to this Z06 as well.
Yeah, I think the dealer turnout's going to be really good on these. Again, most people haven't seen the Z06 in person, so it's a great time to do so, and especially at your own local dealership.
It's a monster. It's a beast. I can't wait. Also, Corvette sales dominated the competition last year, which is good to see.
Yeah, we see that in the competition with our competitors such as Porsche and Mercedes-AMG and the Audi R8, Mercedes SL classes, Nissan GTRs. Corvettes dominate. We've gained a whole lot of market share the last time. This time we're up 63%, I think, for the year. It's pretty crazy that we've just been able to crank out these cars. And the more cars that we make, the greater that share is going to grow. Porsche definitely has customers and loyal customers, and they're always going to be in that one area. But I just don't think they compete with the volume of the C8 Corvettes and what Chevrolet can put out. And the other thing, too, is this is kind of off this percent, but did you see the ship burning in the Atlantic that contained a shipload of Porsches and Audis and some other cars from the VW group?
I sure did.
Can you imagine Corvette people just seeing that, knowing their cars on there? I mean, we would have people in therapy for years, I would think, if that would happen. So we often talk about that with production and cars and, why can't Chevrolet do stuff right or all that? Everybody has issues. Everybody has unforeseen problems. The best thing you can do is just try to take advantage of whatever opportunities you can. And things are looking good for the Corvette. So I would say, especially now as we're getting into the Z06 time period, there's just so much excitement for the car. And that's just going to bleed down to the models, and the Stingray continues to grow as well. So I think things are really positioned well for Corvette over its competitors over the next year as well.
For everything going on in the world, Keith, we are very lucky and very blessed that the Corvette is built here in the United States and it's not being shipped over in a big, big boat that's on fire. That's on fire.
That's right.
And also for this year, Corvette was the 6th fastest selling car.
Yeah, so this comes again from the IC Cars reports that they've been doing. We followed this last year. They did 11 surveys. They never did a final survey for December. So in the 11 surveys, 6 times last year, Corvette was the number 1 selling vehicle in the USA. This year, starting off in January, we're back at number 6. What we're seeing actually, though, is, before those cars would be like average time to sell, the number 1 car would be like 7 or 10 days. We're seeing the number 1 car, which is a Kia Telluride, a SUV, actually taking 12.8 average days to sell, while the Corvette's at 17. So 5 days difference. But, it's wintertime. Things are taking a little bit longer to deliver these cars. Maybe customers are taking just a day or 2 extra to pick them up. Dealers might be taking a little bit longer. It just bodes well that the Corvette still is just rocking the sales charts.
Absolutely right.
And the other thing, too, Steve, is these IC Cars reports also track the average transaction price.
Yes.
Back in January last year, the Corvette's average transaction price was $84,600. And by the end of the year, it grew to $96,685. Well, for January, it jumped another $2,000 to $98,597. So I think you're seeing a combination of 2 different things there. Of course, we're seeing really just a ton of convertibles coming through the system, and there's a whole lot of 3LT orders. That drives prices, but then also dealers are continuing to mark up new car sales. That's probably the biggest reason for that jump in ATP.
And speaking of transaction price, Keith, even with Corvette, Chevy's 2022 January average transaction price was also up 17%.
Yeah, this report comes from Kelley Blue Book. It again discusses average transaction pricing for Chevrolet vehicles in general. We were up 17% for January 22 over January 2021's prices. In 2022, the average Chevrolet price was $47,882. Again, that was $7,000 higher than what we saw a year ago. But it actually has dropped nearly 3% month to month from December to January this year. So that's kind of good news. Again, it could be the wintertime and some other things going on there. But I would say automotive manufacturers in general, one of the benefits of the lower stock is the ability to sell cars at MSRP or greater and to get those prices. And I think that's why we're seeing the average transaction rates go up so high.
Absolutely right. Well, buddy, let's take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Corvette Racing and Corvette rumors here on Corvette Today.
VetteFinders.com is the Internet's original Corvette classified ads website, with classified ads starting at just $25. And every ad runs until your Corvette is sold. If you're in the market for a Corvette, VetteFinders.com has over 500 Corvettes for sale from all around the USA and Canada and covering all 8 generations. Visit VetteFinders.com, the Internet's destination for buying and selling Corvettes. That's VETTE Finders.com.
Mid-America Motorworks has been the industry leader and aftermarket supplier and manufacturer of Corvette replacement parts and accessories since 1974. We have what you need for all years and generations of Corvette. Whether you need a door panel or seat cover for your C1 Corvette, or the latest shirt, jacket, hat, or lifestyle accessory to complement your new C8, you can get it at Mid-America Motorworks. So if you're restoring, repairing, replacing, or simply researching your Corvette, Mid-America Motorworks is the place to go. Visit our website at mamotorworks.com and shop Corvettes by generation or specific year. Or call us Monday through Saturday, toll-free at 800-500-1500 and talk to one of our Corvette experts to help you get the right part or accessory. Pursue your passion with Mid-America Motorworks.
Are you ready for a better insurance policy without the Corvette tax? With agreed value protection, the value of your collector vehicle will never change. Plus, you'll save money. Get a quick quote at ncminsurance.com.
And now, back to Corvette Today with your host and my husband, Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Mid-America Motorworks. Pursue your passion at mamotorworks.com. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me every other week is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you current and up to date on America's sports car. In this next section, we're going to talk about Corvette Racing and Corvette rumors. First, in the racing section, Keith, Corvette Racing did some tire testing at Sebring.
Yeah, this is kind of the off time right now for the team between the Rolex 24 and Sebring. We're exactly 4 weeks out for Sebring, so we've got that coming up. But yeah, Corvette Racing was at Sebring, and they conducted a tire test according to some social media posts that we saw. There was a report that came out from Racer.com. It had some really good info. They're talking about how Corvette Racing is chasing the changes from GTLM to GTD, and that the Rolex 24 was really the first validation of those first changes they made, and now they're just really trying to see what else they can do. They say that really with everything else that the car has been modified, the biggest change is the Michelin tires, because we're running on basically a customer tire. Everybody's running the same tire in the class. Previously, our Michelins were custom designed for our cars. And while that doesn't seem like a big change to go, you're going from a custom tire to a customer tire. The fall off is that great. And actually it is. They talk about how they're having to rebalance the car and some of the other things that they're doing to see any kind of performance gains that they can try to pick up with the tires. But it's been a tough go with that tire. And I think the drivers have even said it's the biggest change on the cars. Hopefully we can get that knocked out here in the next race or two. It's going to be interesting then after Sebring. We get into some of the regular tracks, some of the shorter tracks, and some of the shorter races. Lots of things coming up. It's good to see our team really trying to nail some of this stuff down and get competitive in this class. And again, it's great to be great to be racing against all these competitors, but we want to do well. And that's the goal, is to win that class. Hopefully we'll be able to be at the top of that podium once again.
It'll be interesting to see how much difference those tires make. I bet it makes a huge difference. That'll be cool. Also, our friends at Callaway Cars have created a road-legal C8 track car for customers. This is really cool.
Yeah, this was kind of a surprise. So this is Callaway Competition, which is the German subsidiary of Callaway Cars. They're the ones that are responsible for racing over the ADAC GT Master Series. They've got that C7 GT3R car that they custom built themselves. So what they've actually said is that they're going to take a step back from racing and they're going to build a series of C8 road legal track ready cars for customers. Everybody's kind of pulled thin resources wise, and so that's why they are taking a step back. They didn't want to do both of these at the same time. They wanted to make sure they could give it their all. The other interesting news is that instead of then using one of their own C8 road legal cars as the conversion for the GT3 race car for them, it looks like they might actually be trying to get one of the first C8R GT3s from General Motors. They want to be one of the customer teams racing that new GT3 car from Chevrolet and Corvette. That should be interesting. I have not seen any of the mock-ups of this new car yet, and they're working through a dealership over in Germany as well to put it all together. We're anxious to see it. We'll be following up on that as soon as we see more.
Also in the rumors section, Keith, if you want to order a level 2 carbon fiber trim package for your new Z06, it sounds like you have to order a 3LZ trim package on the car itself. Is that correct?
Yeah, we found that out. So if you're playing around in the Z06 visualizer, it is throwing alerts that tell you when you are trying to add an option for something in a package that you don't have access to. So it sounds like if they had selected the 2LZ and then they tried to add that level 2 carbon fiber package, it would say, nope, sorry, you have to add the 3LZ. We'll know for sure on March 21st with the order guide, and that'll also tell us for certain whether or not that level 2 package is also coming to the Stingray. We've heard kind of yes, maybe no, but I think it is. The order guide will tell us on March 21st for sure.
That sounds good. Also, the C8 E-Ray dual clutch transmission was possibly revealed because Tremec was patenting it, right?
Yeah, this is for the E-Ray, we believe. This is pretty exciting technology. You know, we've always said that it'll be the Stingray powertrain. We've got the tried and tested LT2, the 6.2-liter V8 engine in the back, and that engineers will just be putting on the Ultium drive motor on the front axle. You throw some Ultium batteries in that C8 center tunnel, and you're ready to go. You got a regenerative braking and maybe even one pedal driving, which will be pretty exciting. So what this DCT has specifically that we think is for the E-Ray is it has what's called a motor generator unit or a motor generator attached to the transmission. And the idea is that these batteries might be able to power the dual clutch. So you have 4 gears on one side of the bank and 4 gears on the other. They think that the motor generator might be able to power one bank of those gears. So you might actually have electric propulsion through 4 different gears. Again, this is all speculation. We're reading these patents, and these patents are very technical in nature. Luckily, I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express before taking it over. We found also that the motor generator can also be used for starting the engine. You can use it for charging the hybrid batteries while driving. That's the regen braking. But then also, if you're standing still and your car's not starting, you can use the Ultium batteries and the motor generator to charge your regular car battery. So there's a little bit more to this than just using the Ultium drive motor on the front axle and going. Pretty exciting technology. The whole thing about the E-Ray and the self-propulsion through electric batteries, that's really going to be interesting. I was looking at the E-Ray for the all-wheel drive. The fact that it might actually end up doing all this other stuff too is pretty exciting. It'll be interesting to see how customers take to a hybrid Corvette if that's actually the case.
Boy, that sounds like the next level in EV cars. That could be really, really exciting, buddy.
Yeah, I think so.
And finally, Keith, give us an update on the Corvette market. We've seen all these dealerships marking up cars and things. Has the market finally turned?
Yes and no, I would say. I think we're starting to see some breaks. We ran a video about a week ago from a YouTuber called Four Wheel Trader, and he does a depreciation analysis that's pretty interesting. So what he's able to do is he's able to dump all the C8 Corvettes for sale, like on Auto Trader, be able to extract the statistics from that. So he gets the coupe and the convertible, and then he gets the pricing on it and the miles on it. From there, he's able to extrapolate out and show us this market. Currently, right now, we're showing the average price on a C8 Corvette on the aftermarket, on the secondary market, is running at about $103,000. What he's seen, though, is that there is actually a slight decline in the amount from private-owned sellers. These are people selling their cars. From July 21st through January 2022, they've seen a decline of about 4.2%. However, dealer markups are still the norm. And if anything, we are still seeing the dealers have higher prices on their new or pre-owned C8s as well. Just looking through Auto Trader, I think we do see some examples of this, especially maybe some higher mileage 2020 cars. I saw a car for sale with 17,000 miles on it. It was a 3LT Z51, and it was under $99,000 for sale.
Oh.
Normally that car would be 115 had it had lower miles, or maybe now perhaps people are starting to move on from the 2020s and want the 2021s or the 2022s because there have been updates to those cars.
Right.
So that's definitely a possibility there. Yeah, so it's a mixed market so far. And again, just the next few months will be interesting with the Z06 and see how that impacts both the new Z06 coming online as well as people selling their pre-owned C8 Stingrays so they can move into the Z06. So there's going to be a lot of movement here in the market, and we're just going to continue to watch it.
Yep, that sounds good, buddy. Let's take our final break, and in our final segment, we're going to talk about the lighter side of Corvette here on Corvette Today.
American Hydrocarbon is your one-stop shop for custom interior, exterior, and engine bay items for your C4 through C8 Corvette. We can help you create a custom look for your Corvette with carbon fiber or 10 different color patterns and styles. Whether it's a custom-made engine cover for your new C8 mid-engine Corvette or custom-made C4 interior upgrades, American Hydrocarbon can help you transform your Corvette into a best-in-class show car. And now we're proud to announce that we can produce and distribute officially licensed GM products for the C8 Corvette. That includes the front splitter, side skirts, engine appearance panels, and engine fluid caps. Plus, we now also carry the C8 Speedline side skirts along with the engine appearance package and high wing. Our products have been featured in Vette and Corvette magazines. Give us a call, 813-476-5638. Visit our updated website at AmericanHydrocarbon.com or email us at pat@AmericanHydrocarbon.com. Let us help you make your Corvette the car you've always wanted it to be. American Hydrocarbon.
Yogi Berra once said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably end up there. At True Wealth & Company, we take that to heart. See, at True Wealth & Company, we believe your retirement lifestyle travels through two doors. Door number one, the blue door, gives you more options, financial freedom. Your money outlives you. Every happiness you wish for in life is through the blue door. Door number two, the red door, is where you outlive your money. You rely on family, friends, or even the state to take care of you. At True Wealth & Company, we're not just financial planners. The best way to walk through the blue door is to have a written plan. Make a work-optional lifestyle a reality with our proprietary True Life Map formula. Look towards your future with anticipation, not apprehension. Having a rock-solid fiduciary partner like True Wealth & Company is essential to effective financial planning. There's no winging it. There's nothing left to chance. Look, we don't want you to become another Yogi Berra-ism. Give us a call today at 913-653-TRUE. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Start your financial independence and work-optional lifestyle today.
913-653-8783. Visit us online at retirewithtrue.com. Investment advice offered through True Wealth & Company, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas.
You're listening to the Corvette Today podcast with Steve Garrett.
Hey, thanks once again for listening to Corvette Today, the podcast that talks about everything Corvette. Brought to you by Mid-America Motorworks. Pursue your passion at mamotorworks.com. I'm your host, Steve Garrett. With me every other week is Keith Cornett from CorvetteBlogger.com. We keep you up to date on what's happening with America's sports car. And if you want some more detailed information on any of these stories we cover in this podcast, you can always go to CorvetteBlogger.com. Keith, in this final section, let's talk about the lighter side of Corvette. The C8 3LT interior sales are setting records.
Yeah, this was a pretty interesting story coming out of GM Authority. They're saying that GM sold more examples of the 3LT during calendar year 2021 than all Corvette sales in 2018 and 2019.
Wow.
So, yeah, well, that makes sense. 2018 was only a 5-month model year run, so that's not exactly a full year's worth of production, obviously. Although the 2019s did go longer. That was a longer model run because of the ZR1. It's an interesting stat. They're also showing more 3LTs have been sold since the launch of the C8 than all 3LTs during the last 4 years of the C7 combined. We did tend to see 3LTs higher at the beginning of a model year run. And as customers get their cars, eventually what will happen is dealers will be ordering more and more stock units, and they tend to order those less optioned. 2019 was also the highest year of 1LT Corvette sales for the whole C7 generation. So again, it's just what happens during a mature model year run or a mature model run with these cars. But people are ordering 3LTs. Of course, the convertibles have really surged with nearly 49%, I think, of market share so far for Corvettes.
Wow.
And people order their cars loaded. Those people that are ordering those convertibles tend to order them with the heavily optioned 3LTs. It does make sense that number's so high.
That's wonderful. It's good to hear. Also, the C8 won the J.D. Power 2022 Canada ALG Residual Value Award, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, again, these are residual values, cars that are lasting longer. It's a survey, and we often don't get surveys from Canadian customers, but obviously it's our number 2 market outside the U.S., so it makes a lot of sense that we'd want to hear from them as well and what they have. And of course, being up there in Canada, obviously their environmental conditions are different, so it's interesting to see how cars hold up longer in those winter conditions when they're driven. Good stuff coming out of Canada. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, me too. Also, this was a really interesting article. It says the secret to the C8 Z06's torque comes from a 200-year-old German physicist. That's amazing.
Yeah, this guy's name was Hermann von Helmholtz. He is credited for discovering a phenomenon in the 1800s that helps deliver torque today. And what it is, it's called the Helmholtz resonance. Within the intake manifold of the Z06, you want to be able to keep those pressures higher. And the higher the pressures inside that intake manifold, the more torque you can get out of it. Superchargers and turbochargers obviously fill that intake with higher pressure. But because the Z06 is naturally aspirated, they're using these series of communicator valves within it that open and close at certain RPMs, and that creates this resonance that then increases the torque. It's really quite fascinating when you hear about it, and then you see the picture of the 1800s German physicist there. Everything old is new again, I guess. Other manufacturers have been doing this for years. They just really put it together for the Z06, it sounds like.
It's amazing that 200-year-old technology is in a 2023 car. That's amazing. Also, I was excited about this. Being the carbon fiber freak that I am, Anderson Composites is making a full-body carbon fiber body kit for the C8. Wow.
And the amazing thing is, I mean, you look at the pictures of this car, and it is beautiful carbon fiber. It's shiny. You see that weave. But what's crazy is you're rewrapping all these body panels on this car. You're taking off the existing body panels, putting new body panels on. You can do that for $19,999. The best part is when you put this kit on your car, you don't have to paint it.
Yes, absolutely.
So GM's carbon fiber package, if you were to order every carbon fiber piece for the C8 Stingray, you're going to spend over $23,000. Wow. So this kit actually also is a wide body. It increases the car overall width by 3 inches. So there's a lot going on with this kit. Again, the carbon fiber looks beautiful when you see the photos, but for $20,000 just to secure the kit, obviously if you can put it on yourself, great. But if you take it to a body shop and they do it for you, there's some work there that has to be done. This seems like a very affordable, and I'd love to see one of these cars in person. Steve, any takers?
I would love to have one, Keith. That's for darn sure. Just realize, though, if you do get this kit, you got to get wider wheels and tires. And I know when I was looking at the pictures, Keith, I had to open up a new box of Kleenex because I was really drooling.
I hear you there. It's a beautiful car.
It really was. Also, I have some strong feelings about this story, buddy. YouTuber Stradman, James, had a Z06 delivered to his driveway. Go ahead and talk about the story, and then I'll tell you how I feel about everything.
Sure. We've seen Chevrolet really embrace some of these influencers on social media, especially some of these YouTubers. You have Amelia, you've got Stradman here. And the reason why is, here's the Stradman. The video starts with him. He's got this huge car collection. He's got Bugattis, he's got Lamborghinis, just a crazy car collection. I see a GTR there in the background. So he's pulling out his cars because he's got the new Z06 that, quote, be delivered to his driveway. So what happens was he actually was working with Chevrolet PR. They dropped the car off, allow him to do some photographing and video. They allowed him to do some revs. The video actually contains some of the best revs that I've heard on a YouTube video for the Z06 Corvette. I mean, it's just amazing. And it's fun too, because you put a factory person in there or a Corvette team member in there, they're probably going to be a little bit more gentle than the enthusiast that just wants to hear it rip. But if it's not your car and you want to hear it rip, you might let it hear it rip even further. Pretty impressive on that. So here's the reason why. If you want to know why Chevrolet dropped off this car at the Stradman, it's because as of this morning, it's already generated 1 million views on video.
Right.
You can't get that advertising for free anywhere else. that's why they do it. The idea is some of these younger people, you bring in a younger market, you're reaching these younger viewers, and it all then becomes the feedback loop where they want the car, they go out and buy the Corvette Stingray because they see what it can do because their favorite YouTubers are having so much fun with it. I know that there's some people that don't really care for influencers, certainly don't make a buying decision off of whatever an influencer says, do your own research, but it certainly can be fun. And that's all this is. It's just fun.
It is fun. And James is a good guy. I mean, truly, he's a good guy. I subscribe to his channel. I watch him. He owns a Rapid Blue C8 Corvette. The one thing I had issue with is that the title of the video was Taking Delivery of a New C8 Z06. No. He didn't take delivery. It got dropped off to him for 3 hours. They didn't let him drive the car. It sat in the driveway, and like you said, we took some pictures, we did some revs, and then 3 hours later, the car was gone. So he didn't take delivery. He just got it dropped off. But you know what? They didn't drop one off at my house, so more power to them.
Again, people have mixed feelings on these events. I just look at the million views and say that's a million people that wouldn't have seen that, maybe have never seen the Corvette Z06 before seeing that. Who knows?
Yep.
A million people is a lot of people, or a million views are a lot of views. That's why they do it. They're going to continue to do it. So just grin and bear it or look away. I don't know what to tell you there.
Well, and it was nice because it was a torch red Z06 and it was a gorgeous car.
Very nice looking car. Yep.
Also, Keith, and just in time for the NCM's Michelin Bash, the National Corvette Museum's new Stingray Grill is welcoming a new consulting head chef. It's Bobby Hammock.
Yeah, so he's going to be the consulting head chef of the NCM's in-house Stingray Grill. He comes from the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, where he served as an executive chef for 10 years. Actually, it sounded like he kind of retired there. I'm thinking that maybe our new CEO at the museum, Sharon Bronner, brought him back. He says he's very excited to be back, and he's going to be joining Kenny Jones at the Stingray Grill, not only managing and coming up with new menu items for the grill, but also for some of the catering that they do for some of the smaller and mid-size events at the museum itself. Should be pretty exciting. Looking forward to it. I want that big Stingray burger at the bash. Hopefully that'll still be on the menu, Steve.
That sounds good. And finally, everybody, Keith and I have some very, very exciting news for you. Coming up on February 24th, Keith and I are going down to Arlington, Texas to Corvette Nation TV host Michael Brown's place. We are going to be co-hosting a live Facebook video on CorvetteBlogger.com. Michael is selling all of his Corvettes and his 125 plus neon signs at Mecum in Glendale, Arizona in the middle of March, and Keith and I get to go co-host the event.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. So we're going to do a live walk around, a streaming event. It's actually going to appear on Corvette Blogger's Facebook page, and then we'll port it over to the site once it's done. But on Corvette Blogger's Facebook page, you'll see all 13 cars of the Hooked on Vets collection from Michael Brown. We're going to get the inside scoop from the man himself. We're very excited to also see his neon sign collection, and that's going to be done through another streamer, I believe, on another channel on Facebook. So it should be interesting, though. If you've seen Michael Brown's neon collection, it's one of the best I've ever seen put together, and I'm anxious to see it in person. So, yeah, we're going to be there on Thursday, the 24th. I believe our streaming time takes off at 6 p.m. Central Time. So please join us on Corvette Blogger's Facebook page.
Keith, thanks so much for being on Corvette Today. We will see you in 2 weeks. I'm going to go call Chevy PR and see if I can get a Z06 delivered to my driveway as well.
Hey, if we're doing that, I guess I'll be flying into Kansas City to do some videos again, huh?
Come on down, buddy.
I don't know. It sounds cold to me.
It is cold, but we'll be glad to have you here. Take care, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Sounds great, Steve.
Thanks for listening to Corvette Today, and please be sure to tell your family, friends, and other Corvette enthusiasts about the Corvette Today podcast. And also thanks to our flagship sponsors, Mid-America Motorworks. Pursue your passion at mamotorworks.com. American Hydrocarbon at AmericanHydrocarbon.com. True Wealth & Company at RetireWithTrue.com. Also, AEROLARRI Wheels. Get $100 off your purchase with the new promo code CT111 at AEROLARRI.com.
You've been listening to Corvette Today with Steve Garrett. If you'd like to contact Steve with any thoughts on the podcast or ideas for guests on Corvette Today, you can email him at stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. That's stevegarrettdj@gmail.com. Garrett has 2 R's and 2 T's. Or connect with Steve on social media on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using @SteveGarrettDJ. Thanks again for listening to Corvette Today.